Hello, I'm Lynn, I'm 62, been asked to talk about my HIV journey, particularly in relation to access to services. I was diagnosed with HIV 5 years ago when I was 57 and seriously ill in hospital with pneumonia. I was a late diagnosis and I had been living unknowingly with HIV for 7 years prior to this. My diagnosis came as quite a shock. I suppose I assumed I wasn't at risk of HIV. It just wasn't on my radar. Services which raise awareness about how HIV can affect anyone could perhaps reduce the risk for other women like me. In retrospect, I now know when I got HIV, I had really bad flu-like symptoms that year and saw my GP. He couldn't identify the cause of my symptoms, and like me, he probably assumed I wasn't at risk. I wasn't offered a test. I now know that those symptoms were due to my seroconversion, and a test would have come back positive. I have since met other HIV positive women like me who have missed out on access to HIV testing services because health professionals have assumed they weren't at risk. For 7 years after infection, I carried on with my life as normal, symptom-free and unaware that I was living with HIV. This meant I didn't have the benefit of starting early treatment. Eventually, my health started to deteriorate with one infection after another. For a year, I was unable to work and went back and forth to the doctors. I had blood tests, I was admitted to hospital for investigations, I had a blood transfusion, I saw a range of medical staff from different departments, and my health got gradually worse. Eventually, one consultant proposed a HIV test, which came back positive. At that point, I needed to be admitted to the high dependency unit at St James's Hospital with a serious case of pneumonia. From then, it was a slow, steady climb back as the infections were treated and my HIV was gradually managed. My health gradually improved. Only a few close family friends knew about my diagnosis, and following discharge from hospital, I became isolated from friends and family. I returned to work but kept my HIV status private as I didn't want to deal with any stigma that may arise. Throughout this time, I wasn't really aware of any support services available to meet my needs. In the HIV clinic I attended, the posters and the information about HIV support services seemed to target specific groups with which I didn't identify. I'd always been a very independent person, and in some ways I just put my head down and battled on alone, but ended up feeling more and more isolated. 3 years after my diagnosis, I was told about Project 100 HIV Peer Mentor Service. I got a chance to attend a peer mentor training course, and this was the first time that I talked to others living with HIV. The training improved my knowledge and confidence around HIV and helped me understand the importance of peer support. In the past 2 years, I have had peer support from others and also been able to offer peer support as a volunteer. Access to peer support services has helped to build my confidence, to develop my skills and to have a positive impact on my physical, mental and social health. With support, I now feel less isolated and more positive about the future living with HIV.